It's green now, if that makes a difference. Vince, can you hear it? Because it's actually green.
And we have no sound.
Did he say
at all.
anything?
Yeah.
Huh?
I just got that too.
Vince, did you hear it?
Oh, the audio is set to the wrong thing.
What do you mean the audio is set to the wrong thing?
It's set to the wrong...
Let Vince know that we can hear it.
Was it set to one of the cameras?
Patrick Wilson, can you hear us?
No, we had no sound at all.
Oh, I think it was set to something else.
No.
Okay, sweet. Thank you, Patrick Wilson. Not know you, but thank you.
Yeah. How long have we been without audio?
I think that entire time. So we're going to be redoing.
Now we're going to do a slight recap. Okay.
Feel free to join our Discord.
Yes, feel free to also join our Discord. It is on our Dice and Jeeves.
Yeah, I'll link it right now anyway.
I think I linked it in Twitch.
Right? I mean,
It's possible to have the streams restreamed to... Yeah, apparently we had no audio the whole time.
So we're gonna redo that. The dynamic scene.
it's recorded audio.
You got your phone ready to go again?
It wasn't streaming the audio?
You're doing it again.
You can have this one, but we do have the recording.
Should be recorded.
Yeah, that thing looks amazing, by the way.
How would it do one but not the other way?
Correct as performer.
Cool. I have no idea what that is, but cool. Alright. So, a quick recap.
Back down.
What?
He says it's about 20 minutes that we lost. So.
Okay, so,
Yeah, well.
a quick recap of that 20 minutes. Sorry, growing pains and technical difficulties after a 2-week absence. So, yeah.
We were out for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Forgive us.
Forgive us, please. But
People were sick.
what happened was, after coming to from the opening of the gatekeeper seal, Neopkis had apparently nearly killed himself in the attempt, and Rotmir had nearly died trying to stop him. Opening the portal had allowed a strange creature to come through. One out of nightmares. And before it could completely coalesce to be able to attack the group, they had pulled their unconscious members around themselves, and Flynn had cast teleportation, trying to get them out of here and back to Gatherhold within the Talenta Plains. But instead of them appearing within those great sea of wheat and grass, they now stand still within the towering wood. Flynn recognizes that the area that they're in is almost the exact same area that they first teleported into when they came into the towering woods. Triswin had immediately attempted to cast Revivify on Thraka, and we had been dealing with that. As Resurrection in my games isn't as simple as casting a spell, there is more to it than that. Thraka.
Yes.
Floating within that vast, empty sea of dark waters. So black you can't see your own body beneath the water itself. Making your way to the sound of that voice. That voice that you've only heard twice before in your life. Once when you were but a small, young child. 14, 15 years old. Still had not completed the trials to become a full-fledged member of the Gatekeepers. And again, when you had offered yourself and a portion of your own soul to save your friend Perry, not weeks past. You continue towards the voice?
Yeah.
As you continue to make your way, you hear it not with your ears. You're moving too much to the water. This place is so vast and empty. It's not like you're hearing sound. The waves make no noise. The sky above, the wind, none of it seems to register any type of noise. You feel the voice, not inside your head, within your soul. You think something deeper, something more elemental. As you make your way to the voice, you can hear it's chanting.
Guess I'll keep going towards it.
Keep making your way towards it.
The only thing I hear, I mean, it makes sense.
The chanting is the same phrase. You know, one of the great gifts that your patron gives you is the ability to understand and speak any language. Whatever he's speaking, whatever enchant that he keeps muttering over and over again is in a language you have never heard, and you know nothing of its meaning. Before you, you see what looks to be a small landmass, not 50 feet wide, not 200 feet across, sitting within this vast empty sea. And you can see a break in the dark clouds overhead that cast a very eerie, almost aquamarine glow on that shelf.
It's the only thing I see.
As you do, the voice gets louder and louder. And again, it's not like you're trying closer to it and hearing it louder. It just feels like it's almost filling you up, almost with a strange energy. And you can feel yourself renewed and invigorated by this energy. As you finally pull yourself out of the water and stand on the shelf, you hear all around you, feel it, that chanting over and over again.
I guess I look around, like just try to perceive what's going on around me.
There is a vast, empty, dark sea around you. The shelf beneath your feet is old and looks like it will be swallowed at any moment when the tide changes. The clouds themselves above you are motionless, and but for a small crack within them, that light spills down. That is all that you see.
Thraka, as brash as he is ever, like, pretty crude, just screams out, "Any of you speak common?"
As you scream, the words aren't what you expect. You know what you meant to say, but it comes out garbled and strange, but similar in nature to that chant you feel. So the chant continues to loop over on itself. And with the words you speak don't coincide to anything that's said. You know whatever it is, you're speaking its language.
Who's there?
Same thing. When you speak, you realize you're not speaking with your voice. It's almost as if you're allowing the words to emanate from your own essence within. You're becoming more and more, the dawning realization that you're not in your physical form.
guess I'll look around the shelf. Like, I mean, you know, just try to explore as much as I can. I mean,
So you go to jump back in the water? The shelf itself is, you can see the length of it. And it is nothing but a rocky outcropping.
is there any direction that the voice like gets stronger in, or is it just like constant all around?
And now that you've gotten to the shelf, it feels as if you're at the epicenter of it.
Am I able to will myself up towards the light, or is that only in the water?
It seems as if that only works within the water.
Okay.
Almost like you've found yourself to reality still. Like while you still try to have yourself rise, you still know that you can't fly, and that seems to hold you back.
I guess, what do you want from me?
The chant doesn't change, and your voice comes out in that same strange language.
I don't perplex this Thronker right now, because it's like, I don't understand. Guess I hop back into the water.
You can see the emerald light, the aquamarine light, is slowly dissipating as the clouds begin to grow closer and closer together, and that voice within you begins to dim with each passing moment. Dims and dims, and you feel yourself getting further away. The ocean is vast and empty, almost inviting in a strange way. You hesitate for a moment, putting your foot out to just dunk back into the water, and you feel if you enter that surface again, you probably won't ever come out. You'll just let the vast, dark ocean wash over you and take you to the bottom.
I do a, check.
I'll let you roll a straight intelligence check.
I think the rocket's retarded though, so this would go. Yeah, plus 0. 16.
You know this entity, whatever it is, demanded of you nothing more than obedience. Great power. All that it required was for you to do as it asked when the time came. That time came, and you were asked to betray your allies, the gatekeepers that you had spent your life defending, the seals that have been the lifeblood of that Ranger and Druid sect, protecting them, making sure Eberron is safe, that Zoriat could not once again overrun Eberron and to send it back into madness and war.
Okay.
You know, this creature values, whatever it may be, values more than anything else, your blind obedience. And you still hear the chant droning on.
So I guess I have to make a decision to blindly obey. Up in the water. So I guess Thraka's gonna think of, because what would the rest of the group do? Because he's kind of like discombobulated at this point. He remembers like pain in his head getting fucked up, and then next thing you know he's swimming, and now
You understand you're dead.
yeah, like it's like so. Just wonders what they would do. He thinks Peru probably just hopped in the water. Just screw it. Tristan would probably try to talk to the voice. Then would try to burn everything. Arnos would probably catch on fire.
Random like.
Oh yeah, that's what else would do. Just spontaneously combust.
And
Oh, yeah.
It's never spontaneous.
No, it's not. No.
at this point, like, and he has to think of what he should do because the guy that fucked him up was trying to. Was he conscious enough to know that the seal was about to be broken by
No.
Tentacles McDouche? No.
No. You died well before that. But you knew your goal was, if this was one of the fake seals, was to destroy it.
Okay. So I guess that means he has to. So what he should do, since that's the group, the goal of his group. I guess he sticks and commits to the voices.
And how does he commit to the voice?
Joins the chant.
As you take up the chant and you begin to speak it over and over, the dimming voice surges to life with a ferocity that frightens you. Now it is all around you. The dark ocean is gone. The shelf that you stand on, a distant memory. You float now, and you sense a presence before you. You think a star appears before you as the light hurts your eyes, the sudden and intense aquamarine light that bathes you, makes you shield your eyes. It hurts so badly. As you finally become accustomed and look, you see a star has not appeared within the sky, but an eye has opened, and it looks at you. And you hear, "Good." This one. As you concentrate, you feel your spell takes no hold. You search for the soul, reaching it as fast as you can with Revivify, trying to wrap your hand around that soul and bring it back to its body, but it's not there. You reach and you reach and you reach, and you feel nothing. And as you come back into your body, and the first tears begin to mist your eyes, you see Thraka, almost Dracula.
Because I'm like on top of him going like.
The hole in his head stitching together as you watch. For just a moment you can see the pink of his brain being reformed. The hole slowly closing, the skull appearing, the flesh covering the skull itself. His eyes are wild for a moment. And you look around. Just as quickly as the eye was there, you feel yourself fall. But instead of hitting ground, you suddenly feel your physical form around you again. And that sudden shock makes you gasp. The first inhalation of breath that your body has had for who knows how long. And you now sit in a seated position with a very worried looking Perry, who still bleeding out of a great many wounds, Tristan with tears in her eyes standing above you, and Flynn with a very confused look upon his face as he bends down and pours a potion into Arnos' mouth. Go ahead, you got the other potion?
Yeah, he's got that one.
And one for
Roddy.
Roddy.
Okay. Let me.
He's not here, so
Okay,
I can call Roddy all I want.
As you get up to Roddy, you see his breathing has become a little more regular. It seems as if he's at least stable for now. He rolled a natural 20 and an 18 on the death saving throw, so. Go ahead and roll 2d4 plus 2.
That's a 2.
And
Alright.
okay, then. Or
Roger's at 10 hit points.
You feeling okay?
Yeah. So, what do I do for?
You are at 1 hit point. You are alive. So, Triswin, you have a complete understanding of
What happened?
the spell failed because it's been longer than a minute. But you're not sure how long. And that sudden realization that it's been longer than a minute, when you had maybe another 20 to 30 seconds to cast Revivify upon him when you teleported. So you should have arrived with enough time to cast a spell upon him. With your perception check, you begin to realize it was noon, midday, when you all made your way down into the cistern. It's dawn.
we weren't down there that long.
We were in a labyrinth.
We
took
we took one wrong turn. It only took us like 2 or 3 hours.
No, you guys were in there for about 6 hours.
Six?
6 hours total to figure out that the doorway was behind the false trapdoor.
False door.
Yes.
We have a private moment. I would like to talk to you about something.
In character? Oh.
I would like to try and, what's the sense for the undead, particularly if any of these guys feel like it.
As
If I could sense it
I'd
myself.
like a Constitution saving throw, please.
Oh my god, you're gonna blind yourself. Plus 10. Or actually, no, plus 3. Plus 3. Plus 3.
Okay.
He's within 10 feet of me, I'm sure.
Okay, so that's 14.
14. It hurts you to concentrate like this. You haven't taken a beating like this since you died, and even this one feels like worse. You still have that strange sense that you yourself have a very odd sense of undeath about you, but not completely undead. Not undead, but just a faint hint, as it were, of undeath about you. But you detect no undead creatures around you.
But so that feeling that I know that I've been getting from myself is less than normal, or still there?
It's still there.
Just as much as it was before.
Just as much as it was before. I'm sorry?
How far are we from the labyrinth?
From where you guys currently are? Oh, you're at least 2 days walk. No, I'm sorry. At this point, you guys are almost a 4-day walk from the labyrinth. Because it was a little over a day's walk just to get to the encampment. And it was 2 days southwest in order to get to the encampment. Or to get to the
Labyrinth.
yes, that's the word.
Do I know where I am at this moment?
No.
When you wake up, you come to, then yeah, you recognize this already. You know, he thinks you guys are pretty close to where you are before. You know, you're exactly where he teleported in the last time. That strange teleportation where you guys tried to go into the encampment itself, and instead you wound up a day away. You're literally in the exact spot you teleported to before.
Flynn, why do you like this spot?
I don't. We were going to gather hold. There's something that draws us here.
I'd like you to go ahead and roll your Arcana check, please.
Well, we're dealing
really
with
need to
people
talk to
that
you
are fucking with the planes.
about what
Is it
happened.
any surprise that they're making us go to specific
This is
point?
the exact spot that we're at the last time.
Man, you think we're near one of the ones we need to break?
Understandable. but
25 with a natural 20.
Okay.
It
Maybe.
is somewhat worrisome.
A sudden realization begins to dawn on you. where Liamin had told you that translocation and transdimensional magic had been acting funny. You realize now, teleporting into the exact same spot on 2 consecutive occasions. It's not that teleportation magic itself is acting funny. Something is tethering the aether-like passageways that you use to teleport from one location to another, and is solidifying them, almost fusing them into becoming actual paths that cannot be deviated from. So whereas you attempted to take this path to get to Gatherhole, instead you intersected with the same path that you had before, which brought you here. So it's not that the transdimensional magic isn't functioning properly, it is. It's just tethering you to certain destinations depending on what, call it ley lines, you're currently tapped into.
Can I feel where the lines move so I can change destinations?
You can feel there's definitely a very strong pull within the Towering Wood to this location. There's other minor locations without here that you may be able to get to, but you're not sure if you can teleport out of the Towering Wood while still within here.
Can I tell if there's anything specific tethering to this spot?
Something like this has never happened before, and the fact that you begin to understand what's going on, I mean, you're barely beginning to wrap your head around it, and something immensely powerful. I mean, this has to be superseding Dragon Balls of House Orion and translocation magic from a guild that's existed for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
In the entire history of the Kingdom of Galifar and the subsequent cessation of the 5 nations and the wars, you've never heard of anything like this happening before.
So is there anything I can feel that's like a magical tether, like something that's powerful enough to lock the ley line into this spot?
Whatever it is, it's not within the material plane. Whatever's affecting it is on the outside pulling strings and solidifying these points.
There's nothing we can do to break it loose.
There might be something we can do, but
we need to get somewhere else to figure it out. We are on our feet to get out of here.
Do I take any physical damage for doing that? Or for anything?
doing what?
For casting a ray of fire? Okay.
The spell basically just fizzles.
I don't think we're in any shape to move on.
We should make camp and rest.
Then we have a choice to make.
Can we get to the gatekeeper camp?
It's a day's walk.
Nope.
Dave was one of the more dangerous woods in the world in our shape? I think not.
We need to make camp.
Alright.
Well,
when Rotmir sits up and kind of looks around at you guys and, well, fuck! That hurts. He looks down at his very mangled armor, and for the first time in your guys' lives of traveling with Rotmir, as no one was around when he had his one-on-one with his dying father, you see a tear in his eye as he looks at the damage done to his beautiful, beautiful set of plate.
I know.
He goes, fuck!
We'll get you a good blacksmith, don't you
Can you
worry.
fix it for him? Either one of you.
Not for a moment, but yeah, we can fix that up for you guys.
okay. We need to rest and then we have a decision to make.
A lot of things to talk about.
You guys begin to set up camp?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Well, is there any place nearby that looks a little bit more...
There are some very, very big trees. I mean, you have mangrove trees with roots so large that you can literally go beneath them and use them as shelter.
Yeah.
I would like you to go ahead and roll me a survival
I've been
check.
smashed by a
And
tree.
because you are in
Gone
the forest,
through
you have
tree-
advantage
smashed by
from
two
your favorite
trees,
terrain.
Killed by another. I really just don't.
Yeah, it's a tree.
Like,
It's a scare.
trees,
We know.
they are scary. You haven't been smushed by a tree.
That really didn't make
It
much
died.
sense.
No, it did. Oh, well, no, not much. Holy.
Is that a 9 on the other side?
Yeah, that's a 9.
Are they both nine?
Survival, you said, so that's an 18.
As you're doing your best to help set up a ranger fire, as it's fairly cold now, winter is seeping in, and that morning frost is still hanging in the air, you look up, and you have a fairly sizable portion of canopy that's missing. You guys are still further closer to the edge of the Elving Reaches, where the forest isn't quite as thick, where you still have trees that are maybe 15 to 20 paces between each other and not 5 to 6 paces between each other, where the fort itself is almost just like a root system. You're further out from that, so you can actually see the sun, and you begin to calculate, and the sun's in the wrong place. See, you guys are in the 11th month of the year. Sun, from your calculation, should be about an inch that way.
Yeah, time passed vid. I don't know when it is.
I think
Everything is off.
you sent us here a month later, 2 months later,
You
or a
think
month
it's
back.
actually a few days.
A few days. Oh, okay.
By your calculations, between 2 and 4.
We might have lost up to an entire week.
Yeah,
That would explain some things. That would explain a lot of things.
Explain what things?
When we make camp, we will have a discussion.
You guys can pretty easily make camp yourselves. Unlike before, where you heard nothing in this place. It was eerily quiet. And shortly thereafter, you all were attacked by those strange tentacle creatures. Almost like masses of 6 tentacles with one different tentacle, one poisonous tentacle. And within this mass is almost just a beak. And that's it. Now you hear birds chirping. You can hear the scrabble of chipmunks and squirrels within the trees.
well, there are no tentacle monsters nearby.
Oh, I think we might have, it seems like we might have done some good, at least with that.
Yeah, except
Almost
for-
die for nothing.
Here, at least the aberration. That's a minor problem, but not one we're equipped to deal with at the moment.
Oh, and Tristan and Flynn, I need both of you guys to make just general wisdom checks, please. Just a check. That's your wisdom bonus.
Am I wise, or am I a moron?
We're about to find out.
10.
Hey, I have a bonus. 20
20?
total.
When, right before you had gathered up the people, as you cast the spell, and your consciousness was pulled away, ripped, and thrust in the transdimensional dimension, and teleported away from here, you looked at the seal itself. And the only piece that remained intact was that almost pyramid-like centerpiece of it. And it draws a striking resemblance to the other piece of the doorway that you have.
Yeah, if we go back to the cave.
Aye.
As soon as we rest, we start back.
Let's see if we can't take a
The
couple of
remaining
those.
piece is a piece of the doorway.
Let's see if we can't take a couple of those rangers with us though first.
Yeah. More people to stab us to the back. We go straight back.
We do have that giant bug thing.
So we get rangers killed on top of us?
They could at least help us.
Yes, they die quick.
Fair enough.
Are any of them as strong as one of us? Are any 5 of them as strong as one of us?
It's very true. I am the strongest in this party.
Okay,
And she just like looks at Rotmere like.
Yeah, Yeah, half
I'm
of
ignoring
steel,
your-
head of wood.
No
Squish
comment.
you, little man.
So what are y'all doing?
I want to sleep.
We need to.
Set a watch order and
I'll take first watch.
Rotmir very stubbornly will go, I'll take first watch.
I'll take first watch.
No, go sleep, sissy.
You know I hate it when you do that.
Hate it while you're going.
to sleep. It's
Hate
okay.
it on the way
Roll
to.
me an insight check.
That's the money.
Like,
It is now.
that is a 19.
19? You can tell Rotmir's pride is wounded, much worse than his armor is.
Alright. Looks like you've got this.
I've got this. And he goes out and sits just outside of the boughs of this tree and starts keeping watch. So while he's doing that, what is everyone else doing?
I will take.
Going to sleep.
You roll, yeah, you're thrashed.
It's been a fucked up day.
You got resurrected. I'm exhausted. Go sleep.
Is it a short rest or a long rest?
Take
Long rest.
Longer.
I'll take second watch and make sure Rotmir's watch goes good too.
I'll take.
You can
last
see,
watch.
like, before, when Perry died and he refused to leave his side for that entire time that he was asleep, almost to the point of him passing out from exhaustion, he's almost at that point when you relieve him.
Yeah.
I gotta clean my rifle.
Okay, so,
I'll take last watch. So whatever that is.
so I got Rotmir and Flynn, and there's 2 more watchers.
Yeah, I'll take one of those.
Perry? Anybody else take 4th watch?
I guess I've got 4. What? I'm gladly right.
Darka's not waking up.
You're
brain
gonna have to
out.
kick.
How many watches can I take without?
You can only take one.
Oh,
Wait,
one if you want to get your, unless you guys want to spend longer here.
Oh, we're gonna be spending longer here.
If you guys take a full rest, you'll still have about 4 hours of light left in order to travel.
Then we need to get back to.
Unless you guys want to take an entire day and a night and then go travel the following morning.
Yeah.
No, we need to get back
We need
quick.
that piece. We're gonna still have to rest anyways.
Well, okay, fair enough.
Do you want to take last watch with me?
Darka's like out cold.
And you didn't roll a 1, so you're fine. Your rifle.
He died.
Yeah, but
Where?
I'm still cleaning it.
Yeah.
Oiling it,
Careful, you'll be blind.
stroking it.
Oh yes, lovingly. Yes. So is anything else of import happening while you guys are on watch?
Yeah, I'll climb a tree and turn into that.
Okay.
I'll have last watch, so just sit there with Baba La Saga out and just sit there like that with her.
You find it very clumsy in the beginning, but you feel yeah. All right.
Oh god.
This is a true form. Don't worry, I only stay this way forever.
So
Does
everybody
anyone
else-
notice him do that?
He goes up in the tree and does it. So you guys are asleep while he's on watch.
It's worrisome.
So nothing else is happening?
I will, well, a few minutes into my watch when I'm sure that whoever was before me is asleep, I'll just start talking to the saga and be like, I have a lot of questions. I really hope you can answer some, or at least give me some point of insight.
I'll do my best.
We are,
And this is a
Possible.
10-minute ritual that you take.
yeah, but while I'm on watch, and I have the understanding that a lot more time has passed when we were teleported out of down there with the seal.
Yeah. Lynn seems versed in the arcane ways, but I am cut off from the lead.
It was wonky, and this is not where he wanted us to be. He wanted us to be.
I've heard.
I obviously was not able to actually resurrect or bring him back to life for Thraka. I couldn't, and yet he is here.
I would tread carefully. There are but a few things able to restore soul to a body. But rejoice, your ally is alive.
Yes, it just makes me nervous thinking about what it is. Because I don't know if it's like you or something else.
Trust your instincts. They will serve you well.
And Perry is undead.
No,
But not quite.
there's definitely a touch of something there. He wasn't brought back whole, but when your soul is in the clutches of a demon, it is a wonder to get it back at all.
Very true.
Everything has a price.
Yes, that is very true. I remember well. How many more seals do we have here? Do you remember?
I don't know. This was not what I did. I knew of only where the other gate was kept within the tower, the face fire. It is fearless.
Only that one.
That is all of my knowledge. It was Liaman who sent you this way, yes.
Did you see the key or the other piece when we were down there?
I did. I felt its presence. But I also felt how immensely powerful that creature was, and you were right to flee.
We're gonna have to go back and get it.
Tread carefully. Hopefully, that creature is not there.
I hope so as well. Do you know anything else that could help us?
My advice is still to seek out those with knowledge of the past. And the oldest creature within Corvair besides me would be
His Majesty.
King Caius. If he would be willing to see you, but there is no guarantee.
Is there anything that would help us guarantee that he will? That you can
I
think
am
of?
far too removed from politics, my dear. I returned to Eberron, albeit against my own free will, to a realm that I do not recognize.
I do apologize about that, but I am thankful I was able to help you.
Events have transpired in a way that have benefited me in a way that I would not have initially seen as a benefit. But I have come to realize I was clouded in my perceptions, and I let a mother's love corrupt me into doing things I should not. But having lost my own child, I could not bear to lose another.
Of course. No.
I make no excuses for my actions. The things that I've done are terrible, and my penance is coming. And that is why I assist you to return to Barovia and make my mistakes right.
And I will keep to my promise of trying to save him for you.
I'm very glad to hear that. During the watch, does anybody else do anything?
Just get accustomed to that.
By the end of the watch, and it's time for you to wake up Perry, you kind of get it down, like you kind of get a feeling for it. When you you finally let the spell go, you go back, you wake up Perry, and okay, like I think that's It's smaller than you thought it was going to be. Like, you were expecting, like, this great, huge, and you're like, almost like, well, it's still big. I mean, yeah, come on. I mean, I'm still big. You
Big enough to carry 6 people?
Oh my
No.
god.
No. Probably 2 or 3.
One can fly.
One can fly. But you're thinking about, like, how much Thraka weighs, how much Rockmere weighs, and how much Tristle weighs, and you're like, oh.
What about a rock?
Very sizable rock.
No.
Same thing.
Yeah, I just made that
you
joke
could
in
have
my
maybe you could hold maybe 2 people
got Dwayne
and have
Johnson.
maybe 2 people ride on you, but I mean it'd be much slower, and you don't know if you could take off from here. You would definitely have to either get up into the canopy or away from the woods themselves.
Yes. So, you go now?
Yeah.
I guess I don't have
the
much of a
8 hours
choice.
will pass without any incidents happening.
Cool. I need my pile.
We all
Oh
need
yeah,
our
we all
pile.
need that back. We
There
all
better be a
need
pile
our
by now.
piles.
Save you a little time, man.
I don't know what they did in their application. It's freaking out.
Oh, D&D
Throwing
Beyond.
errors. It's been throwing errors.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it storing yours?
It's like last time I was just trying to change my hit points while I was doing error, but it
Yeah, that's
fixed
yours.
itself.
Because he doesn't have
quickly
level
now.
6.
No.
But now it's like, I don't know what happened.
Practically all of my spells should be there as well, and Flynn's giant pile of.
Well, it definitely shows you how many resources you guys
save the
used in
kaboom.
span of 2 days.
Right?
It was a lot.
And we were trying to be conservative. Holy
You
crap,
guys,
Flynn.
you guys,
I know, right? He
you guys
used
were conservative.
everything. We weren't joking when we were like planning on who was gonna do what.
Okay,
It was
so
either
we
he
got-
resurrect or get us out. And so I was like, I will
Okay,
keep it
somebody's
aside.
gonna be missing some level 3 spell slots. Let me know who it is. It's gonna
should
be
have-
Sonia.
It might be a network error.
No, I
You
should
should have
have-
3 spell slots for level 3, correct?
Let me double check.
Do I need to
Doop,
start?
doop, doop.
Like,
Put a
trying
blue.
to
You have the
one
blue
spot?
one, so put an S on
No,
that.
3,
I thought I
yeah.
had the
Okay,
password
so-
for
I got it.
but
I got the blue.
apparently not. Well, I had it for my laptop. I didn't have it for.
And I think you're gonna be the other one. You should have 4 level 3s, right?
The same
Yeah.
thing as
Let me
the outfit.
straighten this out.
And that is Paul's. And that is yours.
My whole tube.
Hey, you get yours back on short rest when you're not dead.
That is true.
Very true.
But I'm not.
But I have to like do that whole thing of when you're not dead.
Let's qualify that, shall we?
It was like, rub that in there.
So does this give new meaning to the song Head Like a Hole?
I saved you. I could have let
I
you
like
die.
that song.
They were gonna eat you, but I saved you.
I did that.
They ain't never tasted a half orc before.
Oh, I know. Oh my
I wonder what
god.
my version tastes
Technically,
like.
did eat him?
Bland, gooey. It's more about the texture than anything else.
Oh my god.
It was a
Wow.
light snack.
I know, right?
How do you know that?
And Kyle is a
All right.
cannibal,
Let's
everybody.
go ahead and bring it back in. So, as you all wake up, eat yourself a meager meal as Rotmere seems off his game and doesn't offer to cook, to prepare anything, as he's just kind of staring at the middle distance much more often than he normally does. What is everyone else doing at that point?
Staring off in the distance.
Getting a good position. Well, I know where we're at and how to get back. Just planning the route back.
Rotmere, if you break into song, I'm gonna have to stop you.
How breaking or something?
He just kind of grunts at you.
Right, so we go now, yeah?
Not feeling like singing right now.
Good.
Hey. Without due haste.
That makes both of us.
So head back as quickly as we can to the cavern of oh shit.
Okay, so you guys trying to head straight there?
Yep.
Yeah. So Perry, are you trying to head straight there?
No, I head back to the gatekeeper.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me survival check with
We
advantage.
need assistance.
You won't know.
I talked to Lasaga last night, and we.
Wow.
She's told us the
Double
truth all the
threes?
time.
I
Yes.
believe her. We have. She is redeemed.
Good thing that's a 12.
Okay. You've traveled this path before. Thankfully, you know this path well. As you follow almost the exact path that you did before. Still kind of circumventing around the graveyard, the center sepulcher that you guys had originally come to. You head further south from that, keeping it out of line of sight. Just don't want to run into any more of those creatures, just in case. Night will fall. You all continue moving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As you guys keep moving, it slows you down quite a bit. Though you have them moving at full speed, your full speed itself, and the visibility drops to about 3/4 speed.
Well, I cast dark vision on me.
Okay. Good. So you can still move fairly quickly. Dark vision's not perfect. You still have to take your kind of take your time. You're moving probably about 7/8 your normal speed.
Okay.
So almost normal, but still you're trying not to step into a hole in the middle of the night.
Faster than normal people through this area?
Oh, definitely. One of the wonders of being a ranger, right?
I'll be walking with Roddy.
I would like each of you to go ahead and roll me a perception check, please. And before we do that, well, not my place to roleplay another person's character, but Rotmir will definitely have a moment with you at this point, and we'll have Paul and you deal with that moment when he's able to play.
Sounds good.
14.
26.
18.
Ooh, that is a lovely 14.
23.
23.
Wand's fully up to chart speed again.
You all of you, right? Well, what'd you roll?
14 with
14.
me.
So all of you, you smell it first. There is definitely something on fire. You can smell smoke off in the distance. Within a few minutes later, the rest of you begin to smell it too.
We need to hurry. Something's wrong.
You like
I
to
run with
fire,
reckless
Mr.
abandon.
Not yet. I'm
I
thinking
mean,
about
you're
it.
going as fast as you can at this point. You guys see Perry.
I'll
He
book
takes
it
off
as well.
into the forest.
Can you give me back my
With
backpack?
you guys in tow behind.
Okay.
You get to the very well camouflaged encampment, which makes you groan, realizing where you guys are now.
I kill you soon for this.
I lied it.
Again.
At one point it was very well camouflaged and almost disappeared in the forest itself, mainly because the forest had overgrown its walls and they had allowed it to do so. As very, very good cover, very good camouflage and concealment. That concealment is pretty much destroyed at this point. You see where you approach from the east, most of the eastern wall appears to be in pieces. Some kind of forceful explosion wrecked the wall from the inside, and you find detritus and rubble strewn up to 200 yards away from the wall itself. And beyond it, you can very clearly see there's still a couple of smoldering fires that are jettisoning black smoke into the atmosphere.
Any movements inside?
Roll me a perception check.
27.
Besides the licking of the few flames that are still there, nothing is moving within this place.
You shall call my carver.
Any dead bodies?
Oh my god, our seat maps
You
are here.
move in because you're just looking from where you are now to see if you can see any movement.
Kill Perry for making me leave my carver here. And then I'll resurrect him and kill him again.
So what are y'all doing?
I'm running full speed in there calling my carver.
As soon as you see that, he just rushes
I'm
past.
gonna go for the aerial view.
Okay.
Since it's
I run
dark
in
and
with them.
highly contrasted with the fires on the ground.
I'll get the
and be
whistles to
sneaky.
call my mage steed.
You
I
have
a
to
mage
kind
brother.
of hop from tree to tree until you can get high enough up. But this place was built into a clearing where most of the canopy itself covers a decent portion of the encampment itself, but doesn't completely cover it. So you actually have a pretty decent aerial view when you do manage to get into the air. You rushing forward. Thankfully, you remember the stables being on the opposite side. Not along the eastern wall, but along the western wall of this. As soon as you clear what is the gigantic hole that was once the eastern wall, you can look inside the encampment and you see devastation and chaos.
Straight to the stables.
Okay. As you begin running through, what does everybody else think? Because he's just.
I'm running up to the wall looking for anybody who's alive.
So you run up to the wall.
I follow him until I see anyone else.
Yeah, I'm flying around getting an aerial view.
And
We're following the Kushla.
and Rotmir is following close to Triswan.
Trying to remain out of sight.
As the three of you push forward, the two of you take a few steps into the encampment and stop. Raka, this place was your home. You lived here. You ate here. You broke bread with many of these people. Despite the inner yearnings of power that you had and the deal that you made, for the most part, you respected the men here. You respected their drive, their ambition. You respected their resolve to be able to stand up to such intensely terrifying things and not falter. Strewn around the center of the encampment, which was once an open area of trodden grass, sparse vegetation, and a series of small ranger fires that they would gather around and speak to each other, and break bread and laugh and tell stories. Now, it is strewn with dozens of bodies. You can very clearly see these bodies have been ravaged. Whatever did this, or whoever did this, did it with glee. As there are bits and pieces of these men strewn about everywhere. There is blood splashed across every stone, every wall. As you get up to the stables, leaving these two about 50 feet behind you, you can see the northern wall of the stables is gone. It looks like something broke out. There is no sign of, there's a few dead horses within there, including one that you recognize as a fine present. It has been torn literally in half. The other two are simply dead. They've been eviscerated. One of them has been disemboweled. But there is no sign of Makushla.
Start calling her.
Okay.
Like thaumaturgy,
As loud as you can.
amplified, screaming at the top of my lungs.
You guys begin to hear him screaming from Makushla. You barely hear it at the edge of your consciousness as you recognize these people. These are men and women who you fought with, men and women who you trained with. And you look over and you can see the small hut that a great many of you included, had built with your own two hands to give Yoath a home, a place to get himself out of the cold. Half of it is crushed in.
I'm going to start looking for anyone alive.
Okay, go ahead and roll me a investigation, please.
Do I see anything of interest from the air?
You can very clearly see that there is This place has been destroyed, and you can clearly see that there is a path of absolute destruction. From the south, that seems like it's coming to here, and then has headed northeast. And I mean, you can.
Was that in the direction of the tree?
The tree of the Olean, the great tree, is dead south of the encampment.
What's northeast there?
No, it doesn't.
No. Programming.
13.
The bodies are cold. This did not happen today. Rigor mortis, on the few bodies that still are, at least it's somewhat in one, pieces left, rigor mortis has long passed. It already set in and is gone. The fires that were burning in this place, the only reason why they didn't spread further is the stone itself was fencing it in, basically. It was hot, but not hot enough to catch the stone itself on fire. And it's, at this point, mainly embers. The scent of blood is thick in the air, but it is old blood. This is not something that happened within the last day.
Does it look like, well, a rough count of them to see, does it look like it was about the full number of the people here, or if there's some of them got away?
Go ahead and roll me a investigation check.
Better. 27.
27. It takes you a couple of hours to pull yourself together and really begin to start searching at what happened. While he's doing that, what is everybody else doing?
Looking for
Finding my damn raptor.
Do you run off into the forest, or are you just staying in the area still calling out for it?
I'm looking for Drax.
You go ahead and roll me a survival check, please.
I'm going to the far end of the path of destruction, the northeast. I had to go land there.
I'm at the wall looking for any survivors. Anybody who's
Roll me an
alive.
investigation check. And then roll me an investigation check. What are you doing, Brian?
I'm pushing out telepathically to see if anything like registers, just saying.
Well, you gotta see a creature in order to link telepathically to it. None of these people are alive.
21.
21?
3.
3?
Checking my survival.
Wisdom plus.
So 19 plus wisdom is 21.
I'm gonna go check the village elder.
Okay.
I can't remember his name. It's been a minute.
As
Good dice.
you all,
Leighton?
Yeah.
as you head into Leighton's collapsed home, inside you find a fellow half-orc. His name was Eric. One that you had formed a bond with. You guys were around the same age, but he loved the forge, he loved to create things, he knew how to fight, and he loved to drink. And he was taken under Leighton's wing, along with you, and taught everything Leighton knows, with one day taking over for him. Eric lies in pieces within this place. Leighton himself, in a strange facsimile that no other creature within this place received. He has been hacked to the wall of his flesh. Large pieces of wood have been shoved through his flesh to pin him to the wall itself. And from what you can see on his body, it looks as if he was very slowly tortured. The skin being peeled from starting at his feet and moving up. Looks like they got all the way up to his stomach. And they either ended it or he simply bled out from the pain. As you check the northeast, it's hard to see up here.
I landed.
But you can, if you land there, you can very clearly see the grass and the trees themselves almost look like they desiccate along the trail. The grass itself is brown and curled inward. It looks as if it was subjected to either a sudden destruction of any of the moisture within it, or an aging effect that turned it into dead and dying within mere seconds. There's still life within the place, but everything on this trail looks as if it has taken a toll has been taken upon it.
When we approached this place, which direction did we come from? Did we come from the? Oh, we came from the east. And this came from southwest to northeast.
This one came from the southeast, came up. So you can kind of guess right around the same kind of path that the encampment was on, that the gatekeeper on Enclave was on. In that general direction, but it could also be from any number of directions. If you follow the path, you won't know for sure. But it did go northeast of you. With your ranger training in that investigation score, it's been a couple of days since it came through here.
What goes this way? Northeast?
Makushla!
I don't think Makushla is necessarily to the northeast.
With your check, you can see that there are tracks, Makushla's tracks. And it looks like she managed to get out and fled west from this place.
I'm going west.
Okay. He takes off.
Where are you headed, Flynn?
Roll me a perception, see if you even see it.
Oh, hey, I'm not that bad. Perception.
Screaming
21.
myself while the name
Yeah,
of the raptor.
you see him just start barreling off into the into the brush.
I'll bust out with a map and start trying to figure out what's in that direction.
You can see there's the only known, or the only true settlement within the Eldian Reaches in this area is Greenheart to the south. Whatever's to the northeast, I mean...
Unmapped?
Well, it's not unmapped, it's just... It's
well,
not,
no, I mean it's not on the map.
Yeah, it's not on a typical map. You would need something more along the lines of this area.
I'm going to go to what remains of the headquarters tent and search their maps, assuming there's anything left.
So, Layton's, when you'll enter the domicile, and Thraka, after seeing Layton, and in the condition that he's in, what do you do?
I pull him off the wall. Like, pull the wood out, not like just like rip all or stuff.
So you pull it out, pull it out gingerly, you take him down. When you come in, you see Thraka closing the eyes of Layton, standing over his ravaged body. And it looks as if the inside of this place has been ransacked.
Did he keep maps? Whatever did this headed off to the northeast.
Dark is not talking right now, like, it's been a very bad, like, couple of days.
You can see he's blinking back tears, but he doesn't answer you.
Is there a desk?
Roll an investigation check.
Ah, that's fun. That's only a 7.
There's a desk, and there is like an old style desk where it's got the built-in drawers, it's got the cabinets up top. It's almost like a field desk type thing, and it has been looted, not destroyed, but looted. And there is quite a bit of stuff missing, which is kind of odd.
Looted? Considering everything else.
Did I hear Arnos ask what was to the northeast, or him screaming from Makusha?
Well, you
hear him screaming from Makusha. Everyone within 300 feet can hear him screaming from Makusha.
Probably further than that.
Well, it carries beyond you 300 feet for thaumaturgy. So you can clearly hear him.
Them or, well, I'm along the wall. Do I see anybody who might possibly?
With your investigation check going through,
3.
it looks like if there were survivors, someone walked among them and finished them off. You sense no life here. And if anyone survived the attack, they must have bled out. Or maybe fled if they were lucky. But even with his investigation, he's found tracks leading into this place. Hurried tracks, but none exiting it.
Can I meet up with? Can I at least see where he is and then meet up with him?
Well, he's currently watching.
Well, yeah.
As he's kind of just going off into the forest with tears in his eyes, screaming at the top of his lungs for his raptor.
And I'm chasing after him because I figured the same as she's realized. There's no one left here to save.
Go ahead and roll me a survival check.
28.
You can see the tracks that he's following. They're days old. But you can see the tracks he's following.
Let me lead you.
Yeah, leads the way.
How far are you guys gonna go?
Till I find my raptor. Or...
So what are the 3 of you doing?
I will get on the
Burying
stone.
Leighton.
Okay.
I'll get on the stone. Have you found anyone or anything?
Not yet.
And that's to anybody.
The only thing that looks like got out was his carver thingy. Weird. We're gonna go find it.
My horse?
Yeah, I found half of it and half of it
Gift from Roddy.
Yeah, Romir seems pretty pissed about it.
Yeah, that was a very expensive gift from Roddy.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry. He avenges death.
Yeah.
If it killed Makushla, I'm going to kill everything.
We'll be back in a day.
I bans the planet.
Okay. Should we really separate?
This devastation's already moved on.
What direction?
Northeast.
What's to the northeast?
I've been trying to figure that out, I don't know. And all of them,
Do I remember what's in the northeast?
Roll me an extreme
this place
intelligence.
has been ransacked. They took everything.
How would they
Straight
even take
intelligence.
anything?
16.
Why wouldn't they?
Sure.
When you all arrived here and you spoke to Leighton about your plans, he mentioned that you could speak to Greenheart or you could head to the observatory. The observatory was to the northeast of here.
Oh, shit.
That observatory that Flynn wanted to go to.
Great.
The shit.
We have.
Follow the devastation and we'll meet up with you.
We still have to go get the key.
Well, then maybe we should meet there.
Arnos, are you able to take us to that well so we can get that key out of there?
I guess. I don't know. I kind of thought this area was more Perry's thing.
Yeah, the observatory is more important even than my raptor. We go.
So, all.
By my understanding,
everyone-
we went there to attempt to kill the Fomorian.
If we go, the observatory is where we used to find the seals. Whatever attacked us is headed to find the seals. We cannot let it do that.
The key is back with that portal, though.
Yeah, we found those pieces.
I saw it and recognized it, so yes.
If it was the creatures, then it can find the other seals, not just the ones we look for.
We need to go then. We will meet you over there. Since you're already.
They're not that far away.
Okay,
I
then-
mean, they're at that point they're maybe
Meet
a
up.
quarter mile away.
Okay, so meet up and we will all head out.
Alright.
Okay. At this point, we're going to go and take a short break, about 15-20 minutes, and we'll get right back to it. All right?
Makushla.
You want Makushla.
Makushla is
I'm
probably
so sorry
happily
about
feasting
Makushla.
on one of the other horses.
You know those
That
cute
kind of-
fuzzy
See,
critters?
what he doesn't know is
What
that
critters?
secretly it was Makushla that did all the killing.
You know, I wouldn't put
I'm
it
okay
past
with it
her.
because I'm not a big fan of the Guardians, but
You know,
We'll be back in about 15 minutes.
They're jerky McJerk faces, but now they're jerky McJerk faces have been turned into jerky.
without faces.
Without
Yeah,
faces.
right?